welcome on into the August episode of Strategy Game News. We've got some pretty cool titles coming out this month, but August does seem to be the month of DLCs and updates. So if you've got a favourite strategy game, chances are it might be getting a little bit of love this season. As usual, this video is timestamped, so feel free to scrub through and find the section that you're most interested in, and all of the games mentioned are listed down in the description below. We're starting off with a very exciting game announcement from Stardock Entertainment, so let's just dive on in. Big news this week in the RTS sphere with Stardock Entertainment and Oxide Games announcing Ashes of the Singularity II, the sequel to the hit sci-fi RTS from 2016. Set 10 years after the first, Ashes will see the player take on the role of the United Earth Forces in an effort to reclaim lost parts of the world from AI and post-humans. With a much larger development team and the publisher of the Sins of a Solar Empire series behind them, Ashes 2 will once again attempt to breach technological restraints to bring an enormous amount of battle simulation to life. Embracing deep strategy roots and promising a new take on the RTS genre, Ashes 2 makes some big promises with the pedigree to, hopefully, back it up. For now, we'll just have to watch development as it continues and revisit the previous installation in the series. Another new game announcement, this time from Inverge Studios. Peregrino is the dark isometric survival RPG which follows a caravan of pilgrims as they journey towards the promised land of New Eden. Protect your caravan, explore the vast wilderness, and hunt to gather resources as you trek across the landscape. With a strong narrative core, you'll need to manage your people as well as your supplies, taking their needs and wants into consideration in order to convince them to stay with the caravan. Peregrino doesn't currently have a publisher, but considering their previous work with 11-Bit Studios, the publisher behind Frostpunk and Death Howl, it'll be curious to see how this one develops over the next few months. I, for one, am super drawn to this style, described by the studio as grim 19th century. Make sure to chuck it on your wishlist to follow development. Fantasy City Builder Against the Storm received its second DLC on July 29 with the release of Nighwatchers. Nighwatchers added bats as the new faction and 2 new biomes to explore. Your bat citizens specialize in metallurgy, but not mercy. You can use the new mechanic of the manorial court to remove a citizen of another species as motivation for the others to work harder. The 2 new biomes also introduce new challenges and opportunities. Bamboo Flats will require you to placate the creature known as the Fluffbeak in order to produce fertile soil in the region required for food production, and your citizens' moods and resolve will also depend on your ability to meet its needs. Rocky Ravine will test the abilities of any seasoned Storm player by removing the main resource of the game. Trees will be replaced by large basalt columns that can be mined and traded to keep your settlement running smoothly. You'll need to become a trade aficionado in Rocky Ravine, lest the storm overtake your efforts before you can complete your orders. This DLC release also includes new world events, orders, world map modifiers, and more. We're big fans of Against the Storm on this channel, and it's always exciting to see this game get an update. Speaking of new updates, Medieval City Builder Going Medieval got a new one on July 31st. The Bandit Camp and Ambushes update allows the player to travel to new locations in the Overland map and send caravans to collect precious resources. It will also allow the player to initiate skirmishes with local bandits and hostile factions, taking the battle to their doorstep with siege equipment and villagers armed for war. Caravans can be ambushed and the encounter dealt with through negotiations, monetary or bloody. The ambush chance will be shown to the player before embarking upon the journey, so you can make an informed choice before sending off precious villagers into the wilds. New events have also been added, notably the Beggar event, in which the giving of resources will prompt the character to drop the location of a nearby loot stash, which can take 2 forms. Puzzle loot stashes require a bit of working out to get your villagers to pathfind to the goods, whereas combat loot stashes will need to be tended to by armed villagers to get past their ferocious guardians. Quality of life improvements and bug fixes accompany this update as always. Geometric roguelite deck builder Moonsigil Atlas received its first demo update in time for the Tiny Teams Festival. In addition to a reworked meta progression system, new cards, and a third character with their own deck of themed cards, we also got a look at the second act for the first time, which is much harder than the first. Don't ask me how I know. With 10 hours in the demo alone, I was super excited to get my hands on this update, and it's always a good sign to see this much content added so soon after the demo release. Environmental restoration puzzle game Terra Nil got a major update on August 8. Heatwave adds a new arid region to the map, bringing the game to 5 major climate zones so far, and includes new animal types, landscape types, and maps for players to test their restoration skills on. Each map includes particular challenges that'll take a bit of working out to get around, introducing new mechanics and threats, and a brand new character in the form of Erwin, the recycling rover who can take on a host of roles to assist you in your journey towards environmental harmony. Heatwave also includes the photography mode, allowing players to snap pics of their favorite creations, and also required to move on to the next stage. Iron Core Mech Survivor came out on August 8 from Soda Game Studio and Solo Game. This action roguelike takes place in a post-apocalyptic landscape as humanity relies on their AI mechs to protect and defend their safe zones from mutants that threaten the rebuilding of society. Complete missions to get rewards and obtain objectives to further the story and gather resources in order to upgrade your base and your mechs. The fast-paced action gameplay is sure to brush the cobwebs off as you move from zone to zone and battle to battle. With a focus on tower defense and waves of enemies, as well as a slight dip into the RNG of card draws for upgrades, Iron Core appears to borrow from a number of genres to blend strategy with high-energy battle mechanics. This one has a free demo, so you can check it out before grabbing yourself a copy. Turn-based tactics roguelike Inkshade will release on August 14. This atmospheric, narrative-driven RPG sees the player engaging in a deadly board game with an unknown entity to win their freedom from whatever realm they've been trapped in. Players must collect pieces for their game chest, upgrading their HP, movement, and fighting skills, and progress through a changing map with varied encounters. Inkshade also allows the player to explore their environs away from the board, searching the room they're trapped in to discover currency called script, new minis, and locked away secrets of the being you play against. Players will need to be wary of their surroundings and strategically minded in order to win battles. Drawing from deck builder skill sets, having too many pieces will be just as detrimental as not having enough, by way of diluting your upgraded pieces and raising the chance of having a basic piece pulled into your hand at the onset of battle. And if you're thinking this looks familiar, you're not the only one. Inkshade seems to draw a lot of inspiration from deck builder Inscription. Some players are a little iffy about this similarity, but others seem to be taking a more pragmatic stance, with Reddit user Burning Popsicles commenting, "I think the mere fact that there used to be a game called Rogue, from which we get the word roguelike, proves that this has been happening and will happen forever. To be able to spawn your own kind of genre is really kind of a legendary thing for a game designer to do, and I think it's pretty cool. Maybe in 30 years we'll have games we call Inscription-likes." Another user, Crosslight96, added, "Honestly, if there's a new genre of playing vaguely threatening board games in a murder cabin with a serial killer GM, it'd be interesting how far it could be taken to." All in all, it'll be interesting to get a closer look at this roguelike when it releases in just a few days. Popular medieval puzzle roguelike Drop Duchy will be getting its first DLC and free major update on August 18. The new DLC introduces a new faction, the Tribe, focusing on forest-friendly druids drawing from the power of nature and exploration. With new cards providing new strat possibilities, the Tribe features a core mechanic called cans. Placing these 4 cards in the optimal grid configuration will yield the largest amount of resources possible, but will force the player to rethink their exploration and placement strategy, as cans will also recruit military units if aligned with each other, a tempting early military force for the more war-minded players. In this mindset, the player is also offered another card, the War Council, which will recruit military forces as exploration resources along a completed row. For a nature-centric faction, the Tribe certainly provides a lot of fighting forward options. The Tribe cards can also work with existing cards from the base game, amplifying their effects and creating new combos. The DLC also comes with 12 new faction-related quests to allow you to climb higher on the progress tree, unlocking a brand new mechanic that we don't know too much about yet, but is specific to the druids. The constellation mechanic will allow you to read the stars and sacrifice opponents. Don't mess with the Druids faction, is what I'm taking away from this. We will also be getting a big free update for those who are still enjoying the base game, with new mechanics and cards, including the long-awaited Endless Mode. With over 100,000 units sold since its launch on May 5, 2025, Drop Duchy is a strong entry in the deck builder landscape of this year, boasting a very positive score on Steam. The Tribes DLC will drop on August 18, and I've linked to this one in the description below. And last but not least, Wartales will be adding a new DLC expansion with Fiefs, announced on August 6 and releasing in September 2025. Fiefs will add a new layer of, you guessed it, fief management to this medieval turn-based strategy game, requiring the player to build, produce, trade, and defend their new home. Players are already theorizing behind the lore of this fief management, wondering if, like the Tavern expansion, players will be put in charge of a rundown, forgotten corner of the world to shape as their own. Either way, the reception has been pretty positive for this one, and hopefully we get some more information on it before its launch in September. And those are our games for August. I know I was a little late with this one and I do apologize. I was waiting for some more information and some more demos to drop so that I could play them, have a bit of a feel, and then write, hopefully, a better article about them. I think the games catching my eye from this video, obviously, Drop Duchy, Moonsigil Atlas, those two games have my heart and I will play whatever content that they bring out. Any DLC that they drop, I will buy. Drop Duchy is incredibly addictive, and to me, Moonsigil Atlas follows in its footsteps by having that same kind of puzzle-like, geometric, fit things together vibe. But I will say one of the games I'm most looking forward to from this list has to be Peregrino. I am going through my top-down RPG fantasy phase at the moment. I'm currently doing a playthrough of Weird West over on my Twitch channel, and Peregrino just seems to scratch that itch. Grim 19th century, could you describe an art style that I'm more interested in? No, you couldn't. As far as I know, this is only in Verge Studios' third title, but the second one was published by 11-Bit Studios. So it's going to be really interesting to see how development continues with this one, as this does seem to be a fairly experienced studio in putting out good games. So those are the games for August. Please let me know down in the comments below which game in particular caught your eye. If you think there are any games that I've missed, or you're a game developer and you'd like to see your game on the channel, feel free to email me at reneeskyplays@gmail.com. That's it from me. I'm going to see you guys in the September episode of Strategy Game News. Until next time, happy creating. Catching my eye, filter along that bottom line. No, I think the thing all of the games mentioned are down in the wish, and that are the games for August. Down RP. Oh. I'm curious about this discourse. Let's discourse it down in the comments below. That is actually a word. Discourse is actually a word, but it sounded like I said discuss with a Scottish accent.